Welcome back to my channel, guys. It's time, finally, for another anime review. It's been quite a while since I've done an anime review here, but I'm excited to do another one. This is going to be on the spring season of this year, man. It's quite a while since... I don't know why I haven't done more anime reviews here, but this is going to be on My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom. It's a pretty long name, and it's a title that I started watching, and for some reason I dropped it. Re-picked it up recently, and I watched it again from the beginning. And it was actually pretty good. It was pretty decent, to be honest. Overall, the anime itself is going to follow a not so typical norm of isekai, which I personally enjoyed throughout the anime. Now, before I continue, though, a few things. If you have not done so by now, make sure you subscribe to my channel. There is a giveaway happening for those who are subscribed, so make sure you go and check out that video as well. There's also going to be quite a bit of videos that I'm releasing this week or have already released, so make sure you check out all the anime, manga, light novel hauls, and Pokemon card video and all that stuff that I released this week. Thank you again for your love and support, guys. That you show this channel. I will continue posting here as much as possible, and you guys can still follow me on social media: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and then join my Discord and watch me on Twitch. Okay, that is all out of the way, and now let's talk about this anime. We essentially follow Katarina, and Katarina is the individual who was reincarnated into this world. Now, she quickly finds out that the world she is reincarnated is in a Otomo game, and essentially this game is a love sequence game, and there's different ways to end up with different guys. You know, if you've never played a anime love game, essentially, if you're the girl, then you can end up with all these different guys, and there's all these different storylines you have to follow to end up with the specific guy, or vice versa. There's also for guys where they are dating or meeting different girls, and essentially there's like 10, 20 different endings. So she realizes that she's in this world, and what she also realizes is that she is actually the villain character. So Katarina basically does everything possible to remember all the different routes to what her destiny can be. And essentially in the game, she's the villain, so most of the time she either ends up dead, or she ends up being exiled, or she ends up doing, very not so good scenario. So what she ends up doing is she comes up with the plan, and we see this throughout the entire anime. She kind of goes back into her head, and she has little mini-me's of her discussing around the table of what they should do next. And essentially her plan is she's going to be ready for in case she is exiled. She has started magic. She starts to become more of a farmer person, where she can supply food for herself and fend for herself if she is eventually exiled. And she tries her best to not end up in one of the endings where she is killed. Now, she gets different characters to essentially come together and become her friends, and she does almost everything opposite to what the villainess would have done in the game, to reassure that maybe something else may happen at the end. And if you're an anime watcher, it will. Now, Katarina is such an airhead, though. She's so focused on surviving, doesn't realize is that she's actually coming closer and becoming friends with all the different people in the game. The first half of the anime, or I would say third, is when Katarina is a little child. She's a little kid, so she meets her fiance at that age. She meets, she meets basically almost everyone at that age. She meets Mary, who ends up being a friend of hers. She also meets Sophia, which happens to be a very important character, and I'll get back to Sophia. But Sophia has also a brother who she meets at that age as well. She ends up with a step brother who, in the game, the villainess would bully him, but treats him like, the best person in the world. And then I think that's everyone she meets. There might be another person. I think that's it though. But essentially, she meets all these people and she befriends them, and they grow closer together. And then after the first maybe 4 or 5 episodes, they end up going to their high school together, and she realizes this is the beginning of the end. Right? This is where the protagonist of the game shows up and essentially kind of ruins Katarina's, the villainous life. So Maria, who is our protagonist of the game, she shows up in the actual anime as well, and she freaks out. Katarina doesn't know how to react. There's a whole episode about it. Essentially, all her friends are meeting her, and she's like, okay, they're falling in love with her already, and they're gonna leave me, and I'm gonna be exiled, and I need to be prepared when this happens. But ends up being that Maria becomes friends with Katarina because of association with everyone else, and Katarina learns that what she thought would happen is not happening because she did a lot of work before she got to that point. Now, she's still behind her head, thinks she's gonna lose and stuff like that, and she does end up being in this predicament towards the end of the anime. I don't want to ruin it, but there is another boy character who is like a secret storyline. If you play the game, he is a guy that uses black magic, and there's a pretty dark background story for him. And essentially, Katarina is sent to her first world, or she's placed to sleep, and in her sleep, she's in her own real world. And in her own real world, she has a friend, Anne, and Anne, essentially, she died at a young age, and Katarina, she couldn't deal with it. It was one of those things that just never. It wasn't good for her. So we learned that Anne actually lives inside of Sophia. Anne was also reincarnated, and she lives inside of Sophia, or the character Sophia, and that is how they're able to wake Katarina up from the black magic. But Sophia realizes this and realizes why she is so attracted and so wanting to be friends with Katarina. And we see throughout the anime that the Katarina and Sophia have this special bond, and sometimes we don't understand why. We understand that they like reading their books, but we don't understand why they're so close. And this is why. It's because Sophia is actually connected to a childhood friend of Katarina in her first life that died during her time of living. And it's actually pretty sweet, and actually it's meaningful how they connect all that. And towards the end, we know that Katarina actually not actually end up in Doom, and actually ends up with all her friends. And that, in a nutshell, is the anime. Now, what do I like about this anime so much is the fact that, again, it doesn't follow the norm of we have a hero. We actually have a girl who's trying to avoid being a villain because she knows that she is the villain. So we just don't follow a over powerful hero as well. She by far is not the powerful character that we think she is. She's very good and really well spoken. She knows how to get through with just her words. But when it comes to her power, she's not really like powerful. Whereas a lot of isekais nowadays, that's what it ends up being. We have like this powerful character who is just dominating the entire time. Other things that I like about this anime is that they do a good job with the comedy. They continue to add comedy to it, episode through episode, and it keeps it lighthearted at the same time. I bench watched it in the sense of I watched maybe 4 episodes, 3 episodes at a time. So I sat down maybe 4 times and watched the entire thing. Those 4 times that I sat down to watch it. So it's not a hard watch. Out of 10, I would put this one at a 7. I think from what we see in my anime list, I believe that they had like a 7.56. It might be lower or higher now, depending of the time of posting and the time of recording. But that was a deserving rating, I think. It's a good anime. I enjoyed it. You guys would enjoy it if you watch it, but it's not one of those that's gonna be like memorable forever. It's gonna be there as a, oh yeah, I watched that, but not really like it changed my life. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have not done so by now, make sure you subscribe, comment, like, and share, guys. Give some love to my channel. I will see you guys on the next review or whatever else I'll post here. Thank you for your love and support, and like always, don't be strangers. See you guys.